Welcome to Real Talk Live. I'm Faisal Karmali, and this is going to be a show talking about a completely different type of business that normally doesn't get discussed unless, I don't know, there's a pandemic happening. We're going to talk about the grocery business, everything that's been the good, the bad, and how to get your product, if you're a business owner wanting to get on a shelf. We're going to give you some ideas of how you can do that. I am joined with Ken Keelor of Calgary Co-op. He is the Chief Executive Officer. We've got him on here live. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Faisal. Thanks for having me on the show.
So I want to start off with when everything happened with the pandemic. What did your locations had to go through? Like, what was the whole everything that was going on? What did you guys all have to deal with?
Yeah, it's been an interesting time. Very early in the pandemic, we were deemed an essential service, and we had to figure out very quickly how to protect our team members and our members while still doing business and helping our community as well. So we focused, I would say, on 4 fronts. First, we quickly activated an emergency planning team, and it had representatives from across all our lines of business. And just for reference, we're in food, pharmacy, liquor, home health care, cannabis, as well as natural foods and petroleum. So this team was in close consultation with public health officials, including Alberta Health Services, as well as the Public Health Agency of Canada, just to make sure that we were aware of at all times and aligned with their guidance and their recommendations. So that was one key piece. The second thing was what we had to do in our stores, and this was very crucial. In addition to the strict cleaning and sanitizing guidelines that we already had in place, we quickly began to take additional measures to ensure safety of members and team members. And just to name a few things, we increased our focus on sanitizing commonly used areas, including cashier stations, self-checkouts, conveyor belts, food service counters, product shelves, touch screens, things like that. We increased supplies of antimicrobial hand sanitizer across our stores. We wiped down shopping carts with disinfectant every time they were used so that customers had fresh, clean shopping carts and baskets. We installed plexiglass barriers for our tills as well as for our pharmacy and customer service. And then one key thing was social distancing. We really pushed that with one-way aisles, a limit on number of customers in the store. We used every alternate checkout instead of every single checkout. And we made sure we also had checkout lineups spaced. So a few different things there. Our team members had information they needed to stay healthy at all times. We screened our team members before every shift. And so that was in the stores. The third front was really with the community. We knew while all of this was going on and we were trying to take care of our team members and our members in the stores, the community needed more help than ever so in the past. So we created what we called the Calgary Co-op Care Package. And essentially it was a care package of basic groceries, canned goods, dry pasta, things like that, that we would drop off to the customer's home free of charge to anyone who was, forced to quarantine as per public health guidelines. We actually did 2,800 of these care packages free of charge. Wow. And it was something we really were pleased to do. And we got a lot of comments from members and customers about that they really appreciated that. We implemented shopping hours for seniors, three days a week, so that seniors as well as people living with disabilities or immunocompromised people could come in to a freshly sanitized, fully stocked store. And then we created a program also where our customers could really donate to 6 of our charitable partners. We called it the Calgary Co-op Cares Program, Calgary Food Bank, Brown Bagging for Calgary's Kids, Mustard Seed, Meals on Wheels, Seniors Resource Society, and the Calgary Women's Emergency Shelter. We matched our members' donations up to $25,000. That has also been very positively received by the community. And on the last but not least front was our team members. We knew the importance of taking care of the team, so we provided them with personal protective equipment like masks and gloves. We created a program called the Champions Program where they got an extra $2.50 pay booster. As well as we created additional discounts and offers so that they could shop and save for their family. And those offers are still in place. Now, while we were doing all of this, we were also transitioning our food business to a new distributor. And so we were working very carefully on the new product assortment, our private brands, a new flyer. So we managed to keep that business going as well as do all of these. It was very busy, Faisal. It changed by the hour and by the minute sometimes.
So Ken, a lot of changes, very quickly you guys are moving along. And in fact, if we look at a lot of other businesses today, they've learned a lot from your business. They've learned about the spacing, the walking in, how the spacing to get into the building, how to sanitize stuff, everything, all the plexiglass, checking with your employees. Like, you guys are the trendsetters during this pandemic, and they've learned a lot from you guys. So when you're in the room and you're making these types of decisions, and it's not only you, I understand that you've got a bunch of team members that are working with you, and you have to make quick, fast decisions that could be literally the make or break of any situation that you're going through. How do you guys do that?
Well, the biggest challenge for sure in that is, as you said, it's communicating across your team, receiving input very, very quickly, and then making a decision. And I call it moving at the speed of retail. We've always had to move very, very quickly in retail. It's a tough, competitive business. But, really, I think through all of this, Faisal, we kept compassion and caring as our number one focus. Calgary Co-op has 3 values: service, caring, and excellence. And really, caring came to the fore, and we said, at the top of all of our priorities will be health and safety, and really making sure that it's not about what something costs. It's about, if it's safer, let's get it done, and we'll address cost as we go. So it was very important to do that, and for our team members and our members to see and hear that. So I communicated regularly with our team as well as our team members, both through regular email communications. I did videos, and then this team that was our emergency prepared team, we met regularly, and we would talk, and I mean on the phone very quickly. Things would unfold, and you can't know everything, so you have to rely on your team, and you have to rely on the health authorities through the process. So it's just making sure that your playbook is regularly up to date with every change. We created an inventory of things that we did. We had about 80 or 90 things on the inventory list. And an inventory was as simple as, we're doing the arrows in the stores. Is it done in every single store? Check. And then we would come back weeks later and say, do we leave the arrows in place? Yeah, we still want them in there. Check. So we use that inventory list at every meeting, and we added to it. And we would check our competition and other retailers and check in with Alberta Health. We walked them through our stores, and looked for the thumbs up, looked for new ideas of what to do. We stayed in touch with suppliers of things like personal protective equipment, etc. And then I represented Calgary Co-op on the city task force, where we talked about what was going on and what we were doing. We shared what we were doing and learned from others as well. So you just got to you got to communicate, you got to decide, you got to rely on your team, but regular communication and keeping that playbook up to date was absolutely key.
What do you think your store managers and the rest of your team members have done to keep employees engaged? And I can only imagine what it feels like when you're getting bombarded with a whole bunch of information, either on conventional media, social media, you're hearing your employer tell you certain things, and you either scared, don't feel safe, don't want to come to work, whatever it may be. How did you guys keep your employees engaged?
Yeah, it's a great question. So Calgary Co-op, we have 440,000 members, but we also have 3,800 roughly team members, and across all these lines of business. So the first thing was communicating regularly with them. And so I really, as the CEO, felt strongly that I should take on that role of being the face of communication with both good news and not so good news. So if we had a case in our store, if we had an employee in us, we would communicate what was happening so that team members felt assured it wasn't something they were hearing from someone else. So we communicated regularly and in a variety of ways, online, making sure that we were doing it safely, but that we were confirming what was happening and what we were doing about the situation that was unfolding. We made sure they were prepared. So just making sure they had their personal protective equipment, the information they needed to talk to members and to each other and stay safe. Making sure those who felt unwell stayed home, didn't feel compelled to come into the office. And a lot of these measures are still in place today. We still recognize this is not over, and each of our team members plays an important role. So, whether it was saying, look, wear a mask to protect everybody else, and then they would go, oh, wow, okay, because I thought it was to protect just me, and it became more meaningful to them that there was a multiplicative effect of using PPE. Making sure they felt valued through the Champions program by sharing accolades. So we have a communications team that is amazing. They actually began to put together accolades as they came in from our members, and we actually published that to all our stores. So the folks at Brentwood would see, hey, here's what a customer said to thank you in your store because someone there, really was an outstanding model for them when they came in the store of sanitizing that cart before they got it or whatever, right? So when we do that regularly as well, by the way. So we've learned a lot of things that we now practice regularly, but that was one really key piece. Making sure that the team continued to stay focused on health and safety, but also, stocking the shelves and making sure that that hard work continued and was recognized. And then one final note was just being flexible. I talked about compassion. I think it was really important to make sure that we recognize it's a tough time for our team members and our members. So we worked hard to provide them support and compassion. For example, even things like mental health, making sure that they know that there's a line that they could reach out to and speak to somebody, and recognizing upfront that they're going through more stress. Some of it was at work, but some of it was at home, where people might be losing jobs or having to work from home in a difficult situation. So those are some of the ways we did it. And really, it was a team effort. It's not just a Ken thing. It was everyone in our team, especially our key leaders that had to carry this accountability.
Emotions have been high over the past 5 or 6 months, and I can recall on a few occasions on social media at different stores, grocery stores around North America, of how customers or members have reacted. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's not. How did you guys handle those difficult members coming into your store with all the other issues, masks, not wearing masks, touching stuff, everything that you had to go through? How do you handle your guys as members in that situation?
Again, it's really about service, caring, and excellence. At the end of the day, we realize as a retailer in that essential services situation, people were counting on us to run the best sanitized stores. We're locally owned by the membership in Calgary, so it's really, really important to them. They see this as their cooperative. And so the first thing I would say is we have an advantage versus our competition because in most cases, members know our team members. They know the store. They've been shopping there sometimes for 30 years in the same store. So really being transparent with our members, being transparent with our team members, being compassionate in terms of how we address people who were either complying with the requirements or not. In some cases, in most cases, it was education, which we continue to do. Why wear a mask? Why is social distancing important? Even if you wear a mask, what's happening with the numbers, making sure that people are aware, we're keeping track of that, and always making sure that we're leveraging, public authorities like Alberta Health in terms of making sure that they're endorsing what we're doing, that we're in line with what they're doing. And so emphasizing that to our team as well as our members in regular communications is very, very crucial. We continue to do that even today, Faisal. It's not easy. We will have some instances where a team member or a customer would be extremely difficult. But I think we have an advantage in retail because we are used to dealing with those volatile variances from time to time when we make changes in our store, whether it's our product mix or our flyer, or even, I'll tell you, one time we changed our shopping carts in the store and we heard from a few members. So I think we're used to dealing with a lot of those things. But the most important thing was that team members felt that the organization was behind them and things were done in a way that it was organized. We weren't scrambling. Even if it was a decision we had to make very quickly, we would communicate it not as, hey, we got to get this done, we've got a problem. Instead, we would communicate it more positively as an opportunity to keep people safe.
Let's talk about the grocery business today. You've got a couple of large competitors that are fighting each other out. And I'm using, some of them are Canadian-based companies, some American-based companies. You're playing in that field. Tell us how the grocery market is today.
Great question. It's always been a very interesting market. Calgary Co-Op is a $1.2 billion cooperative. We're the largest retail food cooperative in North America. And through our various lines of business, we serve many needs for our customers. So typically a Calgary Co-op pad has a food store, a pharmacy, a liquor store, gas bar, cannabis store, and in some cases a home health care store, as well as a natural food section. We also own Community Natural Foods. So we've been really competing hard on the fact that customers want us around. Calgary Co-op being owned locally, it's very, very important to the local population. We believe that we serve our purpose. And our purpose is to enrich our member communities through exceptional customer experiences delivered by our inspired team members. I always say that, delivering exceptional experiences through inspired team members. And our team members are our secret ingredient, Faisal. If you can't copy them. People could try to copy our programs, but they could never copy the sentiment and the heart that our people bring. And we just call that, local with a personal touch. And so we've been very focused on making sure that we launched our new private brands, which you see at the back, Cal and Gary's, which we don't think our competition will copy. So Cal and Gary's is our new private brand we've launched, which is exclusively curated for Calgarians. And we've had some fun with that product, by the way. For example, our burgers say ready to grill, rain, hail, or shine, because we know we get all three of those in the same day in Calgary weather. Our organic eggs, Cal and Gary's, say ready to crack, like your windshield. And you only get that, you only get that if you're a Calgarian, that your windshield cracks regularly here. And we actually have a frequent crack card that the windshield people will hand you out. We focused on our flyer, and we've made sure that we I'll say, exhibit and demonstrate a lot of the local products that we carry. Our goal is to double the number of local items that we carry, Faisal. So we had about 1,200 items. We're already up to 1,700, and we're on our way to 2,500. We are very focused on making sure that we provide excellent service. So being in stock, making sure our produce and meat is the freshest quality. We carry only Alberta beef and pork and chicken. So completely a local meat program in our fresh meats, and so many other different things that we're doing, making sure we're price competitive. So we regularly price check our competitors to make sure that we are well in line with those that provide full service like we do. And we know that at the end of the day, people come to us not just for those functional benefits, but for this entire experience of caring for you from the safe buggy as you come in the store, because it's been cleaned off right then, all the way to, would you like help carrying your groceries out? And I think we're one of the only grocers who's still doing that. So, it's a business that is very exciting because our competitors certainly keep us on our toes, but more importantly, customer demands and the nature of how customers shop continues to change. And so we've stayed very much in touch with that to make sure that we understand their needs. And hence the new food program that we launched in mid-April of this year, where we recognized that there was a need for our business model to change, for us to not only improve the financial performance of the cooperative, but also to locally orchestrate elements like our flyer and our private brands program, which were previously being orchestrated elsewhere on our behalf. We also engage with suppliers a lot. So previous to this change in our food distribution, we had less engagement with suppliers. Now our doors are wide open, and we're meeting suppliers regularly to talk about their research. What are they seeing happening with the customer in their categories? Because suppliers invest a lot in that research. And then the other piece is really just engaging with them to get their products to our shelves and build that relationship in terms of us being a key outlet for them. We're relatively small in the big national scheme of things, but we're a true gem in Calgary with a brand that people score the highest for trust. So I think we're a great brand for suppliers to leverage, even to just test their products.
So Ken, let me just jump in there, because I think you're raising a couple of good points. When we look at businesses here in Calgary, many of them are local businesses staying pretty much within the city or surrounding area. They always talk about competing with the big boys, and some of them will talk about competing by price, or they cannot compete because of other issues such as demand, size, delivery, square footage, whatever it may be. You guys are in a similar boat where you're competing against, and I'm going to call them the big guys. A lot of people look at it and say price. You're not playing in that field, but you guys are doing a fantastic job. So to local business owners who are competing with the big boys, what do they do?
It's a great question. I started my career as a supplier several years ago. And so I really empathize, and I've invested a lot of my time in my career engaging with suppliers. So the first thing I would say, completely shamelessly, is give us a call. We are open for business. So that would be my first message for all suppliers, local or not. We even had a local summit with our suppliers a couple of months ago where we had more than 120 people in the room, all local suppliers. And in fact, we had national brand suppliers calling us, hey, I want to be in the conference. And we said, no, you can't come to this conference. It's all local. We love local. We hire locally. We use local suppliers and providers. We invest locally. We're one of the top taxpayers in Calgary, by the way, for all the land that we own in Calgary. So it's a very local business. There's no one more local. Eating local's been a trend for a while, Faisal. We've been around for, this is nearly 65 years now, and we've made it our mission to focus on that. So we're seeing a strong desire from shoppers to support local. What I would say is suppliers should treat us as a test ground. Or the ground where we can kind of grow their product. So in other words, if you're a small local supplier and you don't have massive capacity to produce product, first get into Calgary Co-op, where you have a trusted brand and your brand is going to be looked after. I would suggest we're less mercenary than our competitors. We really are focused on our members' needs, and we know our members love local. So we'll showcase your brand. We'll ask for your help, of course, to demo it or sample it with our members safely. And we'll highlight it in our flyers. So we are very focused on doing that today with a few vendors. I'll give you an example of an extreme local focus. So we have a supplier that at one stage their fields and barns sort of burned down, and our team went out and helped them replant their tomato crop. And we've now been doing that for years and years. And of course, they supply us those tomatoes, and they're just fantastic. I'll give you another example. So the whole team actually goes out, the produce team, and helps plant this every year. Another example, there's an amazing company that makes fried chicken, and they're called Cluck and Cleaver. So they're run by two sisters who are just amazing people. And we worked with them to create a second location. They only had one location, and it was a takeout only. We actually built a location for them in one of our stores in West Springs, where now we have a Cluck and Cleaver. And so we've gone all the way to actually taking that local business and giving them a second location and making them, part of our offering and supporting them as well. So I would say give us a call, engage with us. I think you'll find a less mercenary focus from Calgary Co-op. And I think you'll find a small gem where your brand is really showcased and highlighted. And, there's a strong and authentic, that's the word I was looking for, authentic commitment to what you're trying to do. It's not all about us.
Businesses in other industries than yours can learn a lot from what you guys have done and what you've just talked about today. When you talk about staying close to your suppliers, understanding, learning from them, building that relationship, I'm sure there's a lot of business owners who could do a better job at that. When you talk about making sure that you understand what your members and your customers need and provide that safety and security as they come into your premise, there's a lot we can learn from there. How you've built a membership and how you've built a major footprint in this city as the premier choice in receiving all, not just the grocery side, but also for your gas bar, for your alcohol, those different types of business that you have put out there, premier choice in the city. That takes a lot to do, and you've done a great job at that. Those are the kind of things that other business owners in this city, in other industries, can learn from you. I have spoken, though, to many chefs, cooks, restaurants who are really looking forward to expanding their business beyond just their location. They want to be on shelves in grocery stores. You have said reach out to you, but if they want to actually get maybe one or two ideas of what they need to do to earn some shelf space in some of your stores, what would they need to do?
Yeah, I would still say, reach out to us. I've invested time with a lot of local suppliers and providers just to kind of give them some guidance. How do you take a restaurant grade product and commercialize it into a grocery store? And we've done that in many cases. I'll give you one really good example. With our commitment to local relevance with a personal touch, we decided we were going to put in some sections of local products in our stores. And so we picked on coffee. And we went to local coffee, people that actually have little coffee shops and very great, excellent product, like gourmet quality product. We created a 4-foot section in our stores for local coffee. And within weeks, Faisal, we had to go to an 8-foot section. We had to double the section size because the stuff was flying off the shelf. So I would say when people come to Calgary Co-op to shop, they're looking for local. I would say, think about how we can actually create a showcase in the store, not just put it on the shelf. A lot of suppliers will think, well, I just got to get listed. You know, this is not a mass business. We're very much a business that wants to showcase what you have. And so we don't just want to put you on the shelf. We want to be the first to get you into our stores. We want to advertise you. We want to promote you. And we want to build your business. So these coffee suppliers are so excited now. There's this rhythm going where they're going to all the other retailers that we compete with, getting on their shelves too, and we're okay with that. But we're thrilled that we were able to give them a start and build that business. So I would say start small. Understand that there's a difference between restaurants and grocery stores. When people walk in a restaurant, it's almost like they expect to pay more. When they come to a grocery store, they expect to pay less. And I'm not sure why that is the case, but it is what it is. So we're very conscious. I'm always conscious of, look, pizza is a great example, or ice cream. For $4, you can buy a tub of ice cream. But if it's $7, you go, well, I'm going to wait for it to go on sale. But when you go to, one of the fast food chains or whatever, you pay $4 or $5 for a little thing of ice cream, and that's okay.
For one scoop, yeah.
So keep in mind the value equation. It's really, really important as a supplier to keep in mind that when you're thinking grocery store, you might have to even modify the quality because the product might be over-engineered for what customers want to see in a grocery store. So whereas in a restaurant, you're aiming for the top quality, in a grocery store, you have to balance quality with value and assortment. How many flavors do I really need to keep my plant efficient? And then what's the price that I'm going to be competing with? If you can buy a pizza for $3 or $4 today in our stores when it's on sale, which is when most people are buying it, then to introduce a pizza that sells for $9 or $10 is going to be very difficult. So the economics, I think, in the back shop of those folks trying to commercialize a product are really important to consider.
How price sensitive are your members?
Our members are extremely price sensitive. And with the Calgary economy being the way it is, Faisal, we expect nothing but more of the same. Now, having said that, I believe our members are very discerning. They're savvy. They know their prices, but they're also discerning about quality and the services that go with the product. In other words, I want to go to a clean and safe store. I want to be treated really well. I don't want to have to stand in long lines. I want to make sure you're always in stock and I'm not taking a chance coming to you. So we see this during times like the holiday season or Thanksgiving or these key times of year. We see a bigger influx of people coming into our stores to shop because they trust us. And it's for all those reasons. So that does not mean that we have a gimme on price and we don't have to worry about it. We price check our competitors every week. We are very conscious of our retail prices. The launch of our private brands program with Cal and Gary's is also supported by a brand called Founders and Farmers, which is our lower end brand, matches up to national brand, but is like 20% cheaper. And the reason for that is to show value. So recently we've also launched a program called The Big Deal, which highlights an item every week that's a hell of a deal. This week it's jumbo cereal boxes for $5. So we have to stay on our toes and constantly show value. Although we know we're doing a lot of value adding, that can't be the only reason. And last thing, I'll give you an example of value add. We have a program where we supply cut fruit and cut vegetables for the convenience of our customers in little bags or boxes. And when we first launched it, we thought, will they pay a little extra for that because of the labor involved in creating these cut fruit and products? And the answer was a big fat yes. So customers want the best price, but they're also willing to make leeway for where you're going to help their lives, be it convenience, be it healthier options, organic products, and just good private brands products as well that are high quality.
Ken, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to chat with me and the rest of our audience here today. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you, Faisal.
We've been joined by Ken Keelor, Chief Executive Officer of Calgary Co-ops. He's given us some great ideas, some great tips. Those of you who want to get in the grocery stores, you got a lot of learning here. Play this over and over again because he's had some great news and information and advice for you. And if you're not in the grocery business, You can learn a lot from Calgary Co-op. They have been the leaders in this city when it comes to what to do in your business during a major change like a pandemic. Kudos to Co-op, kudos to Ken and his entire team. Thank you for watching Real Talk Live with Faisal Karmali.